When you see yourself loving someone who ordinarily you would not, or when you see yourself continuously loving a person who doesn't love you back, and then you begin to wonder why God is making you love them. It's not as if God is partial or He's interested in how you feel. No, God cares about every single part of you. Let me help you with some of the reasons why God is making you love a person who doesn't love you back. One of them is that there is something He wants you to learn. God is not an author of confusion, neither is He someone who doesn't know what He's doing. So if He's making you go through this, then I believe there is something He wants you to learn, and until you have learned it, before He would take you out of that situation, it is possible He wants you to learn how to love unconditionally. He wants you to learn how to be selfless, learn how to be patient, and so many other possible things that He wants you to learn from that scenario. So instead of running away, it's time you accept and begin to go through that process. The person that He might be making you love would test you on all this level, and not until God has seen that there is an improvement in the way you see things would He begin to let the person reciprocate the same love if it was His will for you to be with that someone. If not, He would remove you from that place. God is our Father, and just like your earthly father would scold you, make you learn something that's the same thing that Christ does to us who are called to be believers, it is also possible in a stage that God is making you love a person who doesn't love you back, simply because He wants you to get the experience firsthand for you, to know how it feels to love a person who constantly rejects your love. God is omnipresent, and so He is everywhere. He chooses whatever means that He thinks would make you learn better. And only after you have gotten this experience would you be able to appreciate the love that God has shown to us, even though we don't deserve it. Because the truth is, most believers say that love God with their lips, but in their hearts and actions, they do not appreciate it. Another reason why God is making you love a person who doesn't love you back is that He wants you to teach the person the meaning of love. In a world where people no longer think of other people except themselves, in a world that is full of hate and wickedness, most people have lost the ability to love other people, or some just don't know what it means to love. God might be making you love a person who does not know how to love or has lost the will to live, so that you would be able to teach them again what is it and how it feels to love a person. At first, it might be difficult for you because anything you do would be rejected, and anything you try doing for them, they might perceive it to be you asking them for something in return. When God is making you love, try to understand the story behind the person's new lifestyle. It's possible that they must have gone through difficulties in the hands of people who were supposed to teach them what it means to love. And so, they do not see the need to claim to love someone who you would be treated badly. Others might have been hurt by a loved one in the name of love, and so they no longer trust that anybody who be truthful to love them. God has brought you into their life to teach them how it feels again, and somewhere in the middle, Christ will balance it since He was the one that put you there in the first place. The Bible speaks in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verses 4 to 7 says, "Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres." This is the true definition of what it means to love, and God has called you to do this in the life of that individual. Lastly, God is making you love someone who doesn't love you back because they are your God-ordained spouse. I know you might find this point hard to believe because you expect that if they are your spouse, then they are supposed to just fall head over heels in love with you. But my dear, it doesn't work that way with everybody. God speaks to us in different ways and at different times, so it's possible that because of the connection that He has with you, He would have shown it to you that he or she is your spouse. But of the way they are acting, you begin to doubt what God has said to you. The ways of God are also very different from our ways, and God has already seen the future right from the beginning. So, he must have known what your spouse has gone through and their little hope which they have about love, so he may be giving you the opportunity for you to teach them again how it feels like to love. God is also allowing you to see them the way they are so that you would be able to accept them for who they are. If there is one thing I know for sure, is that God would only show you your right partner and allows you to choose if you want to accept them or not. He never forces his will, especially in the area of a spouse, to be with till forever. So, my dear, if they are unable to love you right now back, take it as you making them fall for you with your sweet charms and how you would treat, and gradually, they would begin to reciprocate that love that you always wanted. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. God is not someone who is going to waste your time just for nothing. For everything that He has called you to do, there is a purpose. You just need to search for it. If God is the one making you love someone, and not your obsession or infatuation, then there is something there. So beloved, don't give up. Those who followed the will and directions of God have never regretted it, and so you are not going to regret this decision. As you go through this phase, even when it gets hard to continue to trust God to give you all the patience and understanding, you would need to be able to remain and love them, regardless of how they treat you now. Love is the greatest feeling or emotion in heaven and on earth. God Himself is love, and He put in us the ability to love one another, just the way He has, to us irrespective of whether we deserve it or not. God has been able to love us even when we constantly rejected His love, yet He did not give up on it. He has still loved us even in our unfaithfulness. Even while we were yet sinners, He loved us and gave us His only begotten Son. Now this is the real definition of love, and whatever Christ has done, He has also given us the ability here on earth to do it. That's why He referred to us in John chapter 10 verse 34. Jesus answered, "Is it not written in your law? I said, you are gods?" We are smaller gods here on earth, and we are fully capable of representing the love of Christ, even to a friend, spouse, family, and just anybody, even though you know that they don't deserve it. Truth be told, none of us deserve it. So why not give it out the same way Christ has given? Loving someone who doesn't love you back is one of the most difficult things that you would find yourself doing, because it's going to test you on all levels. It will test your endurance level, your selflessness, your character, and everything about you. Trust me, you would be pushed and become frustrated and would also feel like giving up on that person because they don't reciprocate back the love that you are giving to them. They take it for granted, and just maybe, you would even lose your small self-respect because things that you would not take and accept on a normal day, you would see yourself doing those things because Christ is the one calling you to love that person, and He would give you the ability to do just that.